Welcome everybody to our 100th episode of Candid Convos, and today we have a very special guest with us. We have CEO and co-founder of Get Staffed Up and best-selling author, Brett Trembly. Thank you for joining us, Brett. I remember part of your story when you were a growing attorney and how you were in a position to, let's say, you wanted to find your way into freedom. You wanted to stop doing everything by yourself. You were in a position where you were earning anywhere between 7,000 to 9,000 a month, breaking even, trying to manage a law firm. And now you do that. You assist firms getting out of that position. You've done that for hundreds and hundreds of law firms. It's a long way. Like, it's been a long road from where you once started to where you are right now. Do you ever look back sort of like in shock and awe of what has happened, or are you just going with the flow? What's that like for you?
So first of all, I just want to mention, I wasn't trying to find my way to freedom because I didn't know what existed. I was just trying to make it day to day, right? I was just trying to get through each day and not go out of business, let's say. So yeah, I think, but the concept is there, right? You're trying to figure out what you need to do to have a good life. Everybody wants to have a good life.
I've been able to take more off my plate so that I can be the lawyer I want to be. And so it's that trusting the process, trusting that he can do it.
Finding myself doing a bunch of admin things that she's not doing, that she doesn't have time to do, that I haven't given to her yet, or that, she's overflowing with work. So then I'm going, okay, well, when can I hire my second person?
So we actually have a lot more remote workers now. We actually have three virtual assistants through Get Staffed Up who have been a godsend to us. And I believe we're actually getting ready to onboard 3 more.
But back to you being the lawyer that delegated your way to freedom, right? And now you're doing this for so many other people. I know you're one of those that drinks their own Kool-Aid. I know you also have a law firm. You also staff yourself up with law firms. You also staff your law firm as well with virtual assistants. So from that perspective of already knowing what that's like and having a company that does that for so many other law firms, how important is it to delegate?
Hiring and delegation are 2 of the most important things a business owner can do, because you can't do it all. And also, if you think about it, if you're a business owner, your hourly rate as the visionary for the company is very, very high. But if you're also doing the reception duties, well, you're taking away from your visionary status to do $15, $20 an hour task.
I had a call at 8:30 this morning, and she's not even supposed to start until 8:30, and I got a WhatsApp from her at 8:15 going, "You have a call at 8:30. Are you ready?" So she's super on top of things. She's very organized. That's just her nature, which works really well for us.
So because of all of the growth that she's experienced in the last 6 years, she is fulfilling her own dreams from afar. And I know that we all have a different mentality, everything that we've gone through in the pandemic, but you see people like this that are dedicated, they're hardworking, they grow slowly but surely, and the things that they are able to achieve just blow our minds.
Freedom for me is not just like there's nothing left to do. I'm basically retired with companies running themselves. Like that's, that doesn't exist. You got to work hard all the time. So I have hired enough people to take things off of my plate that I used to do, because when you start a business by yourself, you are everything. So every job you could ever think that happens in a law firm, you have to do. So I have hired enough people that I get to focus on, what I want to do. So, having the delegation is what gives you the time freedom and the financial freedom to make decisions based upon your priorities and your values. And that's really just priceless.
Oh, well, there's so much to unpack in there, because I imagine if that's what it was like for you, now I envision it happening with hundreds of law firms and happening simultaneously. So there's so many people focusing on what matters most. and now thinking about the very important stuff, the big projects, how do we move forward into the future, instead of how do I deal with that month to month. So it is a big leap from I need to solve this real quick to let's take a deep dive into the future and how we're going to get there. That's a lot of perspective. So thank you for that. And well, I still wonder from well, you co-founded a staffing company and a virtual staffing company for law firms. So what do you believe are the challenges of onboarding offshore members? Do you still deal with them? Because again, I still know that you staff yourself and you keep growing not only your team, but other people's teams. So what's your perspective on the challenges of onboarding offshore members?
So having an agency to go through where they do all the vetting and they do some basic training for that staffer, they lined up a person, you know, for me, or candidates. You know, it was like a video resume on top of a resume on top of another video where you could see the candidate's personality. And then, of course, we had a video interview. So, you know, I instantly liked the staffer that I worked with.
Staffer has very educated questions. So, which tells me that he's taking what we've learned or what we've talked about to heart. He has attempted to resolve, because I do believe in autonomy. Like, I don't like to micromanage the people who work with me. Because autonomy creates creativity, and also a lot of times, like, somebody who's doing the work on a regular basis. I mean, it's great that I did the work from the bottom up, so I know how every level of what we're doing operates. Yeah. Today, I'm not making photocopies. I'm not, you know, scanning and saving things into a system.
I do spend a long time onboarding people at this point in time, and that has been an evolution as well. I do videos that I record of myself trying to explain the history of the firm, what's meaningful to me, how you will succeed here, what my expectations would be. We have process, procedures, and systems that we are constantly working on. Anytime something goes wrong, everyone knows, okay, we need a policy on this, and to make sure that we avoid it in the future. But I think it's also a matter of people being open to working together and collaborating, and being open to new ideas as well.
Well, I mean, there's common challenges for everybody, right? There's feedback loops, which is not as easy when you're online than if you were just down the hall from somebody. So that goes back into training, like depending on your tolerance for training. So I like to be around people that get things quickly. So, you know, I drive my assistants crazy because I would probably, and this is coming from somebody who owns a company who talks about delegating way to freedom. The process of learning how to delegate is not always linear, and it's not always clean. And some people are better at it than others, but that's like, some people are better at driving than others, but you still drive. Some people are better at playing sports than others, but you still need exercise, right? You still got to do it. And if you're not the best delegator in the world, that doesn't mean you don't do it. You still have to go through the exercise of learning how to elevate yourself and get rid of those things that are preventing you from living the life that you want. And that's really what it's about at the end of the day. Giving jobs is awesome, and it's very rewarding. So philosophically speaking, I mean, it's yeah, I don't know. There's been very few things I've done that are more rewarding, but it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to do things because you want a good life for you and your family, and you don't want to be miserable. You don't want to be stressed. You don't want to be overwhelmed. So the only way to do that, there's like, nobody's coming to rescue you. AI is not going to just run your firm completely for you. You know, the only way to do that is to take the tasks in your law firm and give them to someone else, because those aren't going to go away either. And you give someone a task and a project, you show them how to do it, you record yourself showing them how to do it, and then you give them written instructions, and then you let them do it, and then you give feedback, and then it's just like training, you know, a law student how to write better briefs or better memos. You have to take the red line and give feedback. So the more time you put into it, the better you're going to be.
You've painted a picture so clearly, I'm guessing maybe contrasting both worlds, because you have a world filled with lawyers who are living that situation, right? And it's not healthy. It's not healthy because even if you say, okay, I'm not going to work unless it's going to be on that specific day at that specific time, just thinking about it, you're burning yourself out. And not being able to detach from that versus somebody that can now operate a law firm as a business and fully grow it, and then be at peace, be at ease when you step out for a little bit because you know everything is in good hands. And then you have another side, which is the staffer side. And I can tell you this from my perspective, I would never have dreamt that there was such a world like this. I would never have imagined that I would be able to access this or work with people who I believe to be honorable from their core, which is such a different opportunity. And to do this remotely, it was a very big eye-opener for me when I realized this. So this is something that has affected people's lives, not only on their income and how you deal with it day to day, but also looking into the future. It's such a good arrangement that there's so much good things happening outside of one place. I can barely believe it.
Yeah, look, it is really, really rewarding helping lawyers go from overwhelmed to overjoyed.
She helps with my business and my personal social media, sort of keeps a consistent branding and presence on social media for the business. And basically does anything that the team asks her to do. She's really great at creating creative marketing materials like newsletters, deliverables that we give to our clients. If I write blogs, she creates nice branding on the blog. So she's very creative that way. And it's just an integral part of the team. She's been amazing to have on board.
You know, Ryan, you need an assistant. You're too busy. You need somebody to help you, an executive assistant. And she said, call Brett, call Get Staffed Up. And we hired Astrid. Astrid has been with us almost 3 years at this point. Astrid started as my assistant. And honestly, like I had never worked with, I didn't know what to expect. Like I didn't have necessarily the highest expectations because I just didn't know. And what I quickly found was I'm like, oh boy, Astrid is a powerhouse. She's really, really capable at what it is that she does. And in fact, she was so capable that we deployed her into our litigation team to help do things like get medical records and follow up and do all of these different things. And when we saw what Astrid could do, then I called Get Staffed Up back and I was like, get me another Astrid.
I just want to tell you about my experience with Get Staffed Up, all right? I was just understaffed, chronically understaffed, couldn't get things done, couldn't get my staff to get things done, and it was just creating bottlenecks in our pipeline. I'm all contingent fees, so I've got to move cases. And a couple of my friends who have really good practices from different parts of the country actually told me about Get Staffed Up and getting a virtual assistant. I'd never really considered it quite candidly. I'm a really traditional kind of in the office guy. I love a lot of energy in the office and what have you. But so reached out to Get Staffed Up. We had a fantastic kind of a case manager. Her name's Levon. And the whole process was so easy and great for us.
It is a great feeling. But again, mostly because it makes me connect with who I was. And then now I've been through it and I get to share that, right? But it's not the most rewarding thing. Although that's why I started the business, you know, and I thought it would be. And I've said this many times now, the most rewarding thing, which I didn't anticipate, is the incredible people from overseas or near shore, right? Because if you're in parts of LATAM, it's not actually overseas, that we have helped find full-time, reliable jobs that helps change their family. I mean, you know, we kind of joke around sometimes. GSU is like a baby making factory, right? You get these people that now have steady incomes. So they're buying homes or condos and they're starting families or having kids or having more kids, which we pay for maternity leave, by the way. And that is the most rewarding thing. When you see somebody who was in a position that they weren't happy and they weren't comfortable, and it was, where's my next paycheck or my money going to come from, to I've got this job and I'm secure and I feel great about it, and I get to help somebody and work with somebody in the US who you know, is a mentor to me. That right there is like it's the human side that if I had thought about it, of course, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's going to be great. But I didn't stop to think about it again. I usually just, you know, I just forge ahead, and that has been so cool. You know, you say like, oh, it's great meeting you, Joe, and this has been the best thing. That's true, but it's the fact that we've helped so many people and changed their lives that has really been the best part of GSU.
Yeah, I agree. So here's to a couple more thousand people getting their lives influenced in such a positive way.
Yeah,
Brett, I know we've run down the clock. I'm just wondering if there are a last few words or a key takeaway that you'd love to share before we wrap up our 100th episode special.
Oh man, it's interesting because, you know, I remember starting Candid Convos, and here we are with the 100th episode, and I know I recorded a few of the first early ones, and then I haven't been involved. So when you told me we're coming up on the 100th episode and you wanted me as the guest, I was like, that was very thoughtful, Joe. Thank you. I was honored and flattered, and no really parting thoughts. Just let's keep up the good work. Lots of lawyers out there that I can't wait to help in the future.
Here, here. Well, thank you, Brad, and I'll see you at the 200 marker.
Sounds good. Let's do it. Thanks, Joe. Have a good one.